Hello folks, welcome back. In this video we're going to work on an order management system. So the vibe is that someone has a shopping cart, let's say, like so. They head over to PayPal, do what they need to do and all of that, and they place an order, and basically the vibe is we're going to be working on what happens after that, okay? The ultimate goal here is to have some kind of system where the site owner can log in and look at the orders, okay? And also, we'd like the customer to be able to log in and look at the orders and see what kind of progress is being made on those orders and whatnot, okay? So that's the vibe. Let's rock and roll. And I'm going to start this off by going into the database, and we'll make a brand new table called store_orders, okay? Store_orders. It's going to have 7 columns, and the columns are going to be ID, and obviously ID, let me just get my screen sorted out here. ID is an auto increment primary key, blah 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 blah, okay? The next column is going to be called order_ref, okay? That's going to be a reference number thing. We'll make that a variable character of 6. Next we'll have date created, okay? Date_created, you know what that is, that's going to be an integer. Next, let's add a column in called PayPal ID. Now that's going to be the ID that's on the PayPal table. You know that we've got an IPN listener. You know that this brings in stuff and does an insert into the PayPal table. So this ID is going to link to that table, right? Then we'll have a session ID, and I'm going to make session ID a variable character of 64, okay? And then I'll have a column called opened. Now you can make that an integer of 1, or if you want to be really proper, you could make it a tiny integer, okay, of length 1. Lastly, we're going to have a column called order_status, okay, and that's going to be an integer. So there we have it. I'm just going to save that, and there, folks, is the structure for our store orders table. So now I'm going to go into the modules folder, and I'm going to make up a module that's called store orders. So here we go. Okay, pretty standard stuff, folks. And here we are here. I'm just finding the thing. Okay, now look out for that uppercase S at the start of the file name. So store orders, and we'll just sort this thing out here. So store orders, that's going to be calling MDL store_orders, okay? And in the models folder, we've now got MDL store_orders. Watch out for that capital M now. And here we go here. So the top part says store orders, and the table name is store orders. Okay, so that's us set up a module, and congratulations, you are getting good at this. Now what I want you to do now is open up the PayPal controller, and we can delete this test thing here. We do not need this anymore, right? And what I'm interested in is this IPN listener thing. We know that this takes in some stuff from PayPal. We know that this inserts into the PayPal table. Now I'm going to get the ID of this new record that's in the PayPal table by saying max ID is this get max. Now let me make the font a bit bigger here. Okay, right, so we've now got the ID of the new record that's on the PayPal table. So now I'm going to say this load module store orders, and then I'm just going to say this store orders, and then it's going to be an automatic thing, and I'm going to call it sorry, it's going to be a private thing. See the underscore here? I'll call it auto generate order, and we will pass in our max ID so that it's referencing this PayPal table that we've just inserted to. Okay, now by the way, there's something else that we can do here which is probably worth doing. Do you see how this is looping through all of the stuff here and then doing an insert? Well, we have one variable that's called custom. I don't know if you remember that, and it's a big long string because it's an encrypted version of the session ID, right? So check this out. What if we go up to here and we'll say this load module site security? Okay, now on site security, do you remember we had a thing called decrypt string? You remember this, right? So what I'm going to do, we've loaded up site security, and as we loop through everything, I'm going to say if key is equivalent to custom, then I'm going to say customer session ID is this site security, and then firing in decrypt string. And what we're going to decrypt, we're going to decrypt the value, right? So we now have the customer session ID, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to say value equals customer session ID. Okay, so instead of it adding in a big massive encrypted string, now it should insert a nice, neat, very perfect customer session ID, and that should be a pretty cool vibe. Okay, so that's not too bad, and in fact I think where we're doing this auto generate order, I'm going to just add in the customer session ID, might as well. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to now copy this vibe here, I'm going to head over to store orders, and right up the top here I'm adding a new function in that's called auto generate order. Okay, and we'll change this so that it says PayPal ID at the top. So the vibe is this gets called from the PayPal IPN listener when an order is placed. Okay, order is placed. So that's what this does. Right, now if we just have a quick look at the table and remind ourselves what we're doing, we've got an order ref, date created, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start off by loading up the site security module here. Okay, and I'm going to say order ref is this site security. Now check it out, folks. You know what we're going to call here, right? You know what's coming up. Generate random string. Okay, that's the ticket. Thank you very much indeed. So I'm going to say generate random string, and I want a string that's 6 characters in length. Now folks, when you're doing orders and whatnot, order references or invoice numbers or something like that, some kind of reference thing, it's always a good idea to convert it to uppercase. It's just kind of the professional thing to do, so that if people phone in, they can say, hey, I have this order, you know, it's reference number or order reference R2D2. Capital letters are the way to go. So I'm going to say order ref equals string to upper, right? Order ref. Okay, so we've now got a nice order ref, and here we go. If we say data order ref equals order ref, then that's a pretty cool vibe. Now check out the table. We've also got date created, right? So data date created, that's going to equal time. Okay, then we've got PayPal ID. Well, that's kind of an easy one, right? I'm just going to say data PayPal ID, and that's going to equal PayPal ID that's been passed in. Okay, then we have session ID, so data session ID, that equals the customer session ID that we've passed in. And then we've just got two more. Opened, data, opened, that's going to be 0. And order status, and that's going to also be 0. Okay, so if we now just go insert and insert the data, then that is a pretty cool vibe. Okay, so back to PayPal here. All I'm saying is, after we've done the insert, we get the ID of the new record on the PayPal table, we load up store orders, and we auto-generate an order. Okay, now there's one other part to this auto-generate order thing which is pretty important, and it's all to do with the store basket table. You see, when you go into a real shop, I mean, have a think about this, right? Imagine you go in a shop and you pick up this basket. Now what happens, right? You add items to the basket, you wander around the shop and do what you've got to do, then you go to the checkout, you pay for the stuff, and you usually walk out of there with a bag or something like that, you know? So you transfer goods from the store basket maybe into, let's say, a bag, okay? Something like that. So that's what we're going to build, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to take the store basket table here, we're going to export it, and we're going to make a table that's exactly the same, except this table, it's not going to be called store basket. We're going to call this table store shopper track. Okay, so you export your code for store basket. Just for the structure will be fine, right? We're only interested in the structure. You copy that stuff. Now you do not need the actual data. We're just interested in the structure. And what I'm saying is, create a new table called store shopper track. Now I've already done this to save a bit of time. It's exactly the same as store basket. It has all the same fields. It's very normal. Okay, so we have a table called store basket, and when an order happens, we're going to transfer the goods from the store basket into store shopper track. Now what's the point of store shopper track? The point is, it's going to help us to track the items that this customer bought. Okay, and when I say track, I mean just look at what the customer has purchased. Okay, so that's the vibe. If you want to go ahead and make the store shopper track table, that would be cool. I've not done it here because I'm trying to save some time. Okay, but go ahead, make the store shopper track table. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've made that up. Now I'm going to make a module up called store shopper track. So here we go. Okay, and store shopper track. There we go. And I'm just going to set this up. Right, so we've got store blah 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 blah. Here we go. Here we go. So this is easy, right? Store shopper track. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let's just head up here. Store shopper track. All right, now we'll change the model name, and that's going to be MDL store shopper track. Okay, so I'm now preparing the model file. This is going to be called MDL store shopper track. There we go. Change the class name here, store shopper track, and finally we'll just change the table name. Okay, there we go. Okay, so pretty standard stuff, folks, nothing to worry about here. Excuse me. Right, so the vibe now is, if we go to store orders, you can see that we've got this auto generate order thing going on here, right? So I'm not yet finished. I'm going to do a thing that transfers from store basket to store shopper track. So the way this works is, I'm just going to say this load module store shopper track. Okay, and then I'm just going to say this store shopper track, and I'll say transfer from basket. Now let's remind ourselves of the structure of store basket, right? You'll see that we've got a session ID and you'll see that we've got a shopper ID. So that looks pretty solid to me, and I'm going to copy this transfer from basket thing. Actually, let me just do something here. I'll pass in transfer from basket. We'll pass in the session ID, right? The customer session ID, and we'll also pass in the shopper ID. Now the shopper ID, do we have the shopper ID? Do we have the shopper ID? I don't even know. Well, oh gee, let me have a think here. Session ID, order status, transfer from basket. Right, okay. I think it's just gonna have to be this, okay? And actually, yes, so transferring from the basket to store shopper track, and I think that's all we need really. We should be fine, right? So here we go. I'm going to go to store shopper track. I'm doing a function that's called transfer from basket. I'm just going to say this load module store basket, okay? And then I'm just going to say query equals this store basket get where custom, and we're going to get where the session ID. Let me just sort that. The session ID is the customer session ID, okay? So then I'm just going to say, so the query is that. I'm just going to say for each query loading up result as row, okay? Now I need some stuff from the store basket table here. Let me just grab this if I can. Maybe I'm out of luck here. Right, here we go. So we'll grab some column names and whatnot, and these are the columns that we're looking for. These are the columns you're looking for, okay? So here's a little reminder of what we're after here, okay? Just a little reminder, folks. It's no big deal, you know. And let's just sort this out. So I'm going to say data session ID equals row session ID, okay? And I'm just going to do this with all of those variables here. So we've got item title, then we've got price, we've got tax. I don't think we did anything with tax, but we'll chuck it in anyway. We've got item ID, we've got item size, then we've got item quantity, and then what else have we got? Item color, shoppers, date added, and then there's just two more. We've got shopper ID and finally IP address. Okay, so that's all of the stuff we need there. Let me just double check. Session ID, title, price, tax, item ID, item size, color, quantity, shopper ID. Right, that's good. Okay, so I don't need these notes anymore. That was just a little guide, you know. So what does it do? Well, with each of these, it's going to go this and then insert. So it's inserting into store shopper track, right? Okay, so it's getting from store basket, inserting into store shopper track, and then finally, when it's done that, we'll do a custom query and we'll say delete from store basket where session ID equals customer session ID. Okay, and we'll just run that custom query like so. Excellent. So what's just happened there? Let's do a recap. When the PayPal IPN gets called, it inserts into the PayPal table, right? So it adds a row. Then it's getting the ID of that new record. It's loading up store orders and it's running auto generate order. Okay, so store orders, auto generate order. This gets called from the IPN listener when an order is placed. So it generates a random string for the order reference. It builds up some stuff, does an insert into store orders. And by the way, can you appreciate how all of this is going to join together? So PayPal ID is going to link to the PayPal table. Session ID is going to link to store shopper track, right? You can handle this. And then it transfers from store basket into store shopper track. And actually, I think that's all we need. That is pretty much it. So I'm going to upload this now and we'll give it a quick try, okay? And if this works, it will insert into store shopper track, it will insert into store orders, and it will empty the store basket table. So let's just save that and I'll go ahead and upload, okay? Okay folks, unfortunately the upload did not go well. Now, it's not a problem with the code as such. In fact, everything you have should be cool. But I actually made a mistake off camera that you folks never seen. And the mistake is that I recorded some videos, but this is really strange. But I kind of went ahead and did some videos and accidentally deleted content from some old lessons. Well, from about lesson 95 or something. I deleted that stuff. It's very complicated and it's to do with GitHub and all of that. And you don't even need to know about this. It's my mistake. It's not yours. Just relax, okay? But what I'm doing here is I'm just going through all of those files with the controllers and the models, and I'm making sure that they all start with an uppercase first letter, okay? Keep an eye on homepage blocks. I may have forgotten that one. And if you have any problems with this, don't forget to change those first letters to uppercase on the controllers and the models. That's what's happening here. It's my mistake, not yours, okay? So I'm just going to fix this and then we'll upload again. Okay, I've uploaded and everything seems to be cool now. I apologise for that. Now, if you upload this to a live site and you find that the thing's not behaving, there's a good chance that it's to do with that uppercase first letter thing on the file names. It caught me out there. And I apologise if I've left one or two modules with all lowercase file names, you know. What a complete downer, isn't that, Drag? Anyway, I've uploaded. I think we are cool, and with your permission I'm going to give this a quick test. So here we go. We'll take this Jimi Hendrix Stratocaster here. I'll say one of those. Okay, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to say go to checkout. I already have an account. I'm going to log in as Rambo. Now remember folks, this is on the live website. This is davidconnolly.com, right? I'm going to sign in. As you can see, the cart has been updated, so the shopper ID matches. Everything is fantastic. I'm going to click go to checkout. Now forgive me if I need to hide parts of the screen here, okay? This is a live purchase that I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm on PayPal. It's came up with a 2p purchase. Everything looks fantastic. But before I hit the pay now button even, let me have a quick look at the database here. And I'm going to do a few queries. I'll do select all from store basket, okay, just to show you what's happening here. And if we run that, there's one record, okay. Next, I'm going to do select all from store shopper track, okay. And if we do that, you'll see that there are no records, okay? And then I'm just going to do select all from store orders. Obviously this is the live website here that I'm showing you, and this should also be empty. Okay, so no records, right? Excellent. Now I'm going to go on to PayPal and make the payment. Here we go. So I'm clicking the Pay Now button. Okay. It says you paid £2. Everything looks cool. And there's a button here, Return to Merchant. I'll just click that actually. And you'll see that it says, thanks for placing an order, you rock. Now, if we go back to the database here, and we do select all from store basket, previously we had one record. Now we have no records. That's excellent. If we go to store shopper track, we select all from that. Look, we have one record. That is fantastic. Finally, if we go to store orders and run that, you can see that we have a record on store orders. There's the order reference, date created. Everything is just, even the session ID, it's just perfect. So that's that, and all we have to do now is make this look nice and all of that, and that's going to be us. Okay, so thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video.